Welcome to the Spiritual Business Blueprint Podcast.
And we are diving right into the deep end today.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we're basically doing a deep dive into the core source material of my entire framework today. And we're going to take a sledgehammer to a belief system that is honestly keeping probably 90% of spiritual entrepreneurs completely broke.
It is the hard truth Monday morning wake-up call.
Yeah.
Because when I was reviewing the source material for this deep dive, I actually had to pause a few times. It gets uncomfortable.
Oh, it gets very uncomfortable.
Right, because it calls out behaviors that, we've all done, or we at least know somebody in our circle who is doing this right now.
Yeah, the classic calls coming from inside the house moment.
Exactly. So lay it out for us. What is the hook here? What's the hard pill that everyone listening needs to swallow today?
So here's the question I want you, the listener, to ask yourself right now, and you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Are you a talented tarot reader or an astrologer? Maybe a Reiki healer.
Right.
And are you constantly, and I mean constantly, taking new courses?
Oh, the forever student archetype. I know this person well.
Yeah.
They have like 18 beautiful certifications framed on their wall, but literally 0 clients in their calendar.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You're out there mastering a new spread, or you're learning some obscure new modality. You're leveling up your spiritual power level like it's a video game, but your bank account.
It's completely stagnant.
Stagnant. Flatlining. And the internal logic, the story you tell yourself, is usually, well, I just need this one more certificate. Once I master this specific type of ancient astrology, then I'll be ready to charge real money.
Then the clients will just magically appear.
Right, exactly. And today, based on the blueprint source material, we are going to completely shatter that myth because the thesis statement for this deep dive is really simple, but it hurts. Improving your divination skills will not increase your income.
Oof. I can actually feel the collective resistance to that. People are probably yelling at their phones right now like, but my art is everything. My integrity matters. I can't be a fraud.
And see, that right there is the trap. Nobody is saying your art isn't important. Your art is everything for the actual client experience. But it does absolutely nothing for your bank account if you don't have a solid business structure.
Right, because without the structure, the art just sits there.
Exactly. So today, we're walking through the 4-step roadmap to ignore all that noise and actually build a living from your gifts.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to stay on this skill fallacy for a second. It just seems so counterintuitive. In almost every other industry, if I get better at my job, I make more money.
Sure, generally speaking.
Like if I'm a brain surgeon and I learn a new, safer surgical technique, my value goes up. Why is the spiritual industry so different?
Well, it's not actually that the industry is different. It's that we are entirely confusing technical proficiency with market value. I call this the great skill fallacy. I hear it from students literally every day. I need to get better at reading birth charts before I can raise my prices.
It feels almost like a moral stance, doesn't it? Like, I haven't earned the right to charge high ticket yet.
It is entirely a moralized fear. It's imposter syndrome, but it's wearing the mask of integrity. Let's look at what we call the post-purchase reality.
Okay, walk me through that.
Put yourself in the shoes of a potential client for a second. You're looking for a tarot reader online. Can you actually tell how accurate or profound or skilled that reader is before you pay them and sit down for the Zoom call?
I mean, no, not really. I can read their reviews, I guess, or I can look at their Instagram aesthetic, vibe check them, but I don't actually know if they're a good reader.
Exactly. You are buying based on a promise, not the actual product. A client cannot judge the quality of your reading until after they have handed over their credit card and experienced it. The skill itself is completely invisible during the buying process.
That is, when you really stop and think about it, that's kind of terrifying. It means the absolute best psychic in the world and a totally mediocre one look exactly the same to a cold prospect.
If their marketing is identical, yes, 100%. And this creates what we call the sales gap. Because if you cannot market or sell the session, no one will ever get to experience that high-level skill you just spent 10 years and $10,000 perfecting.
You could be the most gifted energy healer since the dawn of time, but if you can't get a stranger to click the buy button, your skills are just operating in a total vacuum.
Right. There's an analogy in the source material that I think perfectly illustrates this, the singer analogy.
Oh, yes. The soundproof basement.
Yeah, so imagine you have a world-class singer, technically flawless, perfect pitch, a 4-octave vocal range, just incredible. But they are singing their heart out in a completely soundproof basement with the lights turned off.
Okay, got the picture.
Now imagine an average singer. Maybe they miss a note here and there, they're a little pitchy on the high notes. But they were standing on the main stage of a massive stadium, and they have a huge marketing team promoting their world tour. Who sells more tickets?
The average singer. Every single time. Which, to the person in the basement, feels deeply unfair.
It feels unfair if you hold on to the belief that the universe just rewards skill linearly, like it's a meritocracy. But the market doesn't reward skill. The market rewards visibility and relevance.
Visibility and relevance. That's a huge shift.
Right. And the goal of this deep dive today is to shift your focus. We need to move you away from trying to become a better mystic and start focusing on becoming a better business owner.
And I want to pause right there because business owner is a very loaded term for this specific audience. I think a lot of empaths and spiritual practitioners hear the word business and they physically recoil.
Oh, they hate it.
They picture guys in cheap suits, predatory sales tactics, capitalism just running amok. It feels dirty to them.
It really does. There is so much deep-seated money trauma in the spiritual community. There's this pervasive belief that spiritual gifts should be totally free, or that attaching a price tag to them somehow tarnishes the purity of the gift.
But the argument in the blueprint, which I think is the most vital point, is that if you are completely broke, stressed out about rent, and energetically burned out, you cannot serve anyone anyway.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
cannot pour from an empty cup. And you certainly can't pour from a cup that the bank just repossessed.
Right. So the core promise of the source material is that even a beginner, someone who literally just picked up a tarot deck 6 months ago, can drastically out-earn a 20-year veteran as long as they have the right business structure in place.
It's a bold claim, a beginner out-earning a veteran. That is definitely going to make some of the old guard pretty angry.
Well, it should make them angry, but honestly, hopefully, it makes them angry enough to actually change their strategy instead of just complaining about it.
Yeah. And before we really get into the weeds of the 4 steps, because we do have a very specific, actionable roadmap to cover today, I want to talk about the origin story behind this blueprint, my background. Because I think people assume you have to be some enlightened guru meditating on a mountain to figure this out. But my path was very pragmatic.
It's a very modern origin story. You actually started out as a travel content creator, right? A blogger.
I did, yeah. Talk about a pivot.
A massive pivot. But honestly, when you look at it, it explains so much of your approach. You were doing the whole digital nomad thing,
Yeah.
living this life that looked absolutely amazing on Instagram. But you've admitted in the guide that you were living hard and feeling pretty lost.
Yeah, I lacked any real sense of purpose. I had the sort of low-level underlying existential anxiety all the time, which honestly, I think a lot of people find their way into spirituality through that exact same doorway, that feeling of, wait, is this all there is?
Right, exactly. And for you, the turning point was when your partner introduced you to Western astrology.
Yeah.
But here is the major difference between you and the forever student we were just talking about. You didn't just lock yourself in a room and study astrology in isolation for a decade.
No, I didn't. I saw it. I realized instantly that it was an incredible tool for self-understanding, and I immediately applied my content creation brain to it.
You didn't have that sacred weight of tradition holding you back and telling you that you couldn't monetize it yet.
Exactly. I looked at it and thought, wow, this is highly valuable. I should package this. I went from being a total beginner to generating over 5 figures in my very first month.
In the first month. I
Yeah.
mean, most people are still trying to memorize what the Ace of Cups means in their first month. And we're talking about hitting that $1,000 to $3,000 milestone and scaling rapidly right out of the gate.
And that is why this system works. My success didn't come from decades of staring at birth charts. It came from understanding that my actual value was guiding people towards self-understanding and then knowing exactly how to package that value. I basically bypassed the entire imposter syndrome phase by just focusing strictly on the business mechanics.
Which is why you shifted from just doing the readings to actually teaching the business of readings. You were seeing all these incredibly talented people just failing.
Yeah, I was seeing practitioners who had 100 times my spiritual knowledge making like 100th of my income. And that gap is exactly what we are trying to close today.
Okay, let's close the gap. Let's get into the actual blueprint. Step 1. What is the absolute biggest mistake people make right out of the gate when they start their spiritual business?
It's what I call the 99% mistake. It is the general practitioner trap.
Okay, break that down for us.
So picture this. You go on Instagram, you're searching for a spiritual practitioner, and you find someone's profile. You read their bio, and it says, I do tarot, Reiki, Western astrology, Akashic records, and crystal healing. Ask me anything, I solve all problems.
To the practitioner writing that, it probably sounds really generous, right? Like they're saying, look at my big toolkit. I can help you with whatever you need.
Sure, it feels generous to them. It feels like keeping their options open. But to the customer, to the person actually looking for help, it just sounds like noise. It sounds like a buffet where all the food has been sitting out under heat lamps for way too long. The mantra for this step is, everything to everyone is nothing to no one.
Everything to everyone is nothing to no one. That is so good. But let me play devil's advocate with you for a second, because I know we have listeners right now who are highly multi-passionate. They genuinely love both tarot and Reiki. If they have to pick just one, doesn't it feel like they're cutting off a limb? Like it's inauthentic to hide parts of their gift?
I hear that all the time. It's the niche drama, the fear of limiting yourself. But here's the mental shift you have to make. You don't have to stop doing all those things in your actual sessions. You just have to stop marketing them as a laundry list of services.
Oh, okay. So how does that look in practice?
Think of a really high-end restaurant. A great Italian place has flour, eggs, tomatoes, ground beef, and cheese sitting in the kitchen. Those are their ingredients. But they don't put a big sign out on the sidewalk that says, hey, we sell flour, eggs, and beef.
No, they don't.
They put up a sign that says, we sell the best lasagna in the city.
I love that. So the lasagna is the actual offer. The ingredients are just the spiritual tools you use to make it.
Exactly. Your high-ticket offer, which we are going to talk about, is the lasagna. It might secretly contain tarot, Reiki, and astrology as the specific tools you use to get the client their result. But you sell the result, you do not sell the ingredients.
Because if I'm a customer, I don't wake up at 7 in the morning thinking, man, I really need some Reiki today.
No.
I wake up thinking I am completely exhausted, I am dreading my commute, and I absolutely hate my job.
Boom. Exactly. You wake up with a specific pain. People don't wake up looking for a modality, they look for a cure for their pain. If a customer has a burning problem, let's say they're agonizing over, will my ex come back to me? And they look at two different profiles. Profile A says, I heal the world with energy and universal love.
Sounds nice, but very vague.
Right? And then Profile B says, I specialize in reuniting lovers and shielding acute heartbreak using tarot. Who do they click on?
Profile B. Immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel seen. They feel like, oh my God, this person knows exactly what my specific misery is.
Correct. You don't go to a general practitioner when you need brain surgery. You go to a neurosurgeon. And let me tell you, neurosurgeons get paid a heck of a lot more than GPs.
So step 1 is entirely about concept and positioning. You have to niche down and become a specialist.
You must become a specialist. The actual formula you need to follow is this. Define exactly who you help, what specific problem you solve for them, and what ideal future you are guiding them toward.
Let's do some makeovers here. Give me an example of a bad bio versus a good bio using that formula.
Okay, here's a classic bad bio. I offer astrology readings, DM for prices.
And why does that suck?
Because it's a commodity. An AI app on my phone can do a basic astrology reading. Why should I go to you? So let's flip it into a good bio. I help women over 40 rediscover their life purpose after a divorce using astrology.
Wow. Yeah, the difference is just visceral. The first one is a boring menu item. The second one is a full story.
Right. And notice what the second one does. It excludes people. It excludes men. It excludes 20-year-olds. It excludes women who are happily married. And that is terrifying for a lot of practitioners.
And they think they're losing money by turning those people away.
But what it actually means is that for a recently divorced woman who is 45 years old, you are the absolute only option she wants to talk to. You become the premium choice.
Let's do one more. Here's one I see everywhere. Energy healer, Reiki master, light worker.
Okay, here's the good version of that. I help burnt-out corporate executives recover their baseline energy and mental focus so they can perform at a high level without anxiety.
That is money right there. Because corporate executives actually have money, and they have a very acute, painful problem.
Exactly. When you niche down like that, the right people feel like you are speaking directly to their soul. The trust is completely built before you even say hello.
Okay, so we've got our concept dialed in. We know exactly who we are serving. We are officially the lasagna shop, not the random grocery store. But now we actually need people to know we exist. Which brings us to step 2. The visibility engine.
Yes, or as it's outlined in the source material, information dissemination. which is honestly just a very nerdy, fancy word for marketing.
The dreaded M word. This is where I see the overwhelm just instantly kick in for people. Should I be on TikTok? Do I have to start doing trending dances? Do I need a YouTube channel? Should I start a Substack? It's exhausting just thinking about it.
And that overwhelm directly leads to paralysis. You try to be everywhere at once, so you end up doing nothing well. In the blueprint, there is a very strict rule for this. The rule of one.
Your rule of one. Just one platform.
Pick one platform. Just one. Do not try to be everywhere. If you are naturally good on camera and you like talking, maybe do YouTube. If you like aesthetics and short-form video, do Instagram or TikTok. If you're a writer, stick to a blog or Twitter. But you have to commit to just one.
And what does that commitment actually look like? Because I think a lot of people post 2 reels, get like 3 likes from their mom and their best friend, and then throw their hands up and say, well, Instagram just doesn't work for my business.
I call that the valley of despair. You put in a little bit of effort, you don't see immediate viral results, and so you quit. But we have specific metrics to get you through that valley. We call it the data phase. If you choose Instagram, you must commit to posting 30 solid, value-driven posts. If you choose YouTube, you commit to 20 full-length videos.
20 videos is a lot of work. For some people, that's months of production.
It is a lot of work, but you need that sheer volume to generate enough data to see what actually works. You cannot judge if a platform is viable after 2 posts. The algorithm doesn't even know who you are or who to show your content to yet.
So you really have to treat it less like an art project and more like a scientist running an experiment in a lab.
Exactly. You aren't an artist putting on a show and hoping for applause. You are a scientist hunting for data points. Oh, look, video number 4 got 50 views, but video number 12 got 500 views. Why did that happen? If you quit at video 10, you never discover the pattern.
Okay, but what are we actually posting about? Are we doing the typical influencer thing and posting pictures of our morning matcha latte?
I mean, only if your matcha latte can accurately predict the future. Otherwise, no. The content has to rigidly address the specific pain points of the exact niche you defined in step 1.
So going back to the divorced women niche.
Right. If your niche is divorced women over 40, your content should be videos like why you feel completely lost after signing the divorce papers, or what your Jupiter sign says about navigating your second act in life. You have to prove to them that you understand their problem better than they do.
Prove you understand their problem better than they do. That is such a powerful framework.
Yeah.
Because I know when someone describes my own pain perfectly, I just automatically assume they hold the solution to it.
Precisely. That is a deeply ingrained psychological trigger. You establish authority not by flashing your 18 certificates, but by demonstrating profound empathy and understanding of their current state.
So we have the niche, we have the content engine running on one platform, we are gathering our data, but now we have to talk about the absolute elephant in the room.
Making money.
Yes, making actual money. The economics of spirituality.
This is where we have to sit down and do some math, and I'm going to warn you, for most people listening, this math is going to be pretty depressing. I call it the burnout math.
Let's break it down. Because I look out there and I see talented readers charging $20, $30, maybe $50 for an hour-long reading. And they think, hey, if I just hustle hard enough on social media, I'll be rich.
Let's look at the cold, hard reality of those numbers. Let's say you need to make $5,000 a month just to live comfortably. Pay your rent, buy groceries, pay for your software subscriptions. If you are charging $50 a session, you need exactly 100 clients every single month to hit that goal.
100 clients. That is, wow, that's roughly 3 or 4 brand new clients every single day, assuming you work weekends.
And remember, that's just the delivery time. That's the hour you spend actually doing the reading. That doesn't count the hours spent marketing to find those 100 people. It doesn't count the back and forth emails, the scheduling links, the, hey, I'm running late, can we reschedule text messages?
It's impossible. It is physically and energetically impossible for a solo practitioner to handle 100 distinct energetic connections a month without having a total mental breakdown.
You would be absolutely fried. Your nervous system would be shot, and frankly, your readings would start to suck because you'd be so exhausted.
Right, so you're actually serving no one at that point. You are burning yourself out and you're giving the clients mediocre rushed service. So what is the solution here?
The solution is that you must, and I mean, must have a high-ticket offer. In the blueprint, I define this as a package equivalent to roughly $1,000, or about 100,000 yen.
Okay, wait, stop. $1,000. I can literally hear the listeners hyperventilating. Who on earth is going to pay me $1,000 for a tarot reading? That sounds predatory. I got into this to help people, not to bankrupt them.
And this is the most crucial reframe of the entire deep dive. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to pay $1,000 for a single reading. A reading is a commodity. They are paying $1,000 for a complete transformation.
Okay, unpack that.
You aren't selling an hour of your time on Zoom. You are selling a permanent solution to a life-ruining problem. Let's go back to our divorce astrologer example.
Right, the woman over 40.
A $50 reading is just you saying, well, here's what the cards say about your ex-husband. Good luck. A $1,000 package is you saying, this is a comprehensive 6-week program where we work together one-on-one to heal your heartbreak, rebuild your shattered confidence, and map out your new life purpose using your natal chart so you never feel this small again.
Okay, yeah, honestly, that actually sounds worth it. If I am in that much agonizing pain, I would absolutely pay $1,000 to make it stop.
Exactly. And let's look at why high ticket works so much better for you, the practitioner. To make that same $5,000 a month, how many clients do you need now?
Just 5. 5 clients versus 100.
5 clients. Finding 5 people a month changes your entire life. You can spend weeks nurturing and finding those specific 5 people. You don't need a viral TikTok with 1 million views to find 5 people. You just need a few hundred highly engaged followers.
And more importantly, you can actually dedicate massive amounts of energy to serving those 5 people. You can text them during the week, you can do check-in calls, you can actually care about their progress.
It allows you to give vastly superior service. So when you think about it, charging high ticket is actually far more ethical than churning through 100 people at $50 a pop.
Because you are actually solving the root problem, not just slapping a $50 Band-Aid on it and sending them on their way.
That is a massive perspective shift, but, and this is a very big but, you cannot just go slap a buy now for $1,000 button on your Instagram bio link. People will think you have lost your mind.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
That is the quickest way to absolutely kill your business.
Yeah.
You cannot sell a high-ticket transformation to a freezing cold audience. And this naturally leads us into step 3 and step 4. But before we get to the how-to of that,
yeah, we really need to give people the exact resource to map this out for themselves. By the way, if you're ready to stop guessing and want the complete step-by-step system to build your own high-ticket spiritual business, I've put everything you need into my guide, the Spiritual Business Blueprint. It's the exact roadmap I used to go from 0 to 5-figure months. You can get your copy right now by clicking the link in the show notes. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so step 3. You just said we cannot sell high ticket directly on social media. The source material refers to this next step as the velvet rope, or building a closed environment list.
Yes, the closed environment. Think about social media for a second. It is essentially a really loud, chaotic party. People are just scrolling endlessly for a quick dopamine hit. They're looking at cat videos, then the news, then your posts. They are not in a buying mindset.
Right. They're just killing time in line at the grocery store.
Exactly. If you stand in the middle of a loud party and scream, "Pay me $1,000 to change your life," people will laugh at you. They get massive sticker shock because there's no context for the value.
Plus, you open yourself up to all the internet trolls. The spiritual gift should be totally free. Brigade will just swarm your comments.
Oh, they will tear you apart. Public pricing leads directly to public flaming. Not to mention, your competitors can just spy on your pricing and try to undercut you. And people who are completely outside of your niche will attack you because they don't understand the offer. So, the fix for all of this is to gently move your followers off of the loud social media platform and onto a private list.
And this could be what, an email newsletter?
An email newsletter, a private waitlist, or even taking the conversation into your direct messages.
Why is that shift in location so critical psychologically?
Because it creates a safe space. It is the equivalent of inviting someone from that chaotic, noisy street party into your quiet, comfortable living room. In an email, you have their undivided attention. You can tell a long, deeply vulnerable story. You can educate them on exactly why your specific method works. You can build profound trust over weeks or even months.
You're warming them up. You're actually nurturing a real relationship instead of just shouting at them.
Yes. And crucially, from a pure business continuity standpoint, you own that list. You do not own your Instagram followers. If the algorithm suddenly changes tomorrow or your account gets banned by mistake, you lose your entire business overnight. But if you have an email list, your business is safe. You can always reach your people.
Okay, so let's track the journey so far. We have the specific niche. We have the content engine pulling people in. We've successfully moved them past the velvet rope onto our email list. But now, how do we actually get the $1,000? We can't just randomly email them a PayPal link and say, trust me, right?
I mean, you could try, but your conversion rate is going to be abysmal.
Yeah.
This brings us to step 4, which is the conversion, the trial session strategy.
How exactly does this work? Is this just the typical free discovery call that every business coach talks about?
It's similar in structure, but the framing is entirely different. The funnel looks like this. Step 1, they follow you on social media. Step 2, they subscribe to your private email list. Step 3, you invite them to book a low-cost or sometimes free trial session. But here is the absolute key difference. This session is not just a cheap miniature reading. It is an audition.
An audition. For who?
For both of you. You are the doctor, they are the patient. They're coming into your office for a checkup, which is the trial session. You look at their astrological chart, or you pull a few tarot cards. You diagnose the issue and give them a really profound insight.
You show them you know what you're doing.
Right, but then you say, okay, I clearly see the root of the problem here. I can give you this little nugget of advice right now to take the edge off, but if you really want to fix this underlying pattern, if you want to stop attracting these toxic partners for good, you need deep, sustained work. You need my 6-week transformation program.
Ah, okay. So the trial session is really just a vehicle to demonstrate your immense value in real time. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that you aren't a scammer.
Exactly. And think about the psychology here. Since they are already on your email list, they already trust you. Since they took the time to book the trial call, they have high buying intent. So the sale actually happens incredibly naturally. You aren't being a pushy car salesman. You are simply prescribing the logical solution to the pain they just admitted they have.
It's like saying, hey, I see you love this appetizer, but you're going to starve tomorrow if that's all you eat. Here is the full 5-course meal.
Precisely. And in the blueprint, I mentioned that there is a very specific screening method you have to use to ensure that only people who are financially ready to buy actually get to book these calls, because you definitely don't want to waste your day talking to tire kickers who just want a freebie. But the core strategic concept is this. You use the low barrier trial to comfortably sell the high ticket package.
This makes so much sense. It takes all the icky pressure off of selling and just turns it into helping.
It really does. And it changes your entire life as a practitioner. You go from frantically chasing $20 payments from random strangers on the internet to having deep, meaningful, long-term relationships with clients who deeply value your time and happily pay for it.
I want to circle back to one thing before we start wrapping up. The whole generalist versus specialist thing from step 1.
All right.
Because honestly, I feel like that is the hardest emotional hurdle for people to get over.
Yeah.
What do you say to the listener who is nodding along right now, but deep down they're panicking, thinking, but I don't want to be just a divorce astrologer for the rest of my life?
That is a completely valid fear. But here is the secret of the business world. Once you have acquired the client, you can do whatever you want. Yes. Once they trust you implicitly because you solved their massive divorce problem, they will buy other things from you. Maybe 6 months after the divorce program, you sell them a career alignment package using your Reiki skills. But you need a wedge to get in the door initially. You need a very sharp point to pierce through the extreme noise of the market.
Yeah.
If you are a blunt object, if your message is just, I do everything for everyone, you just bounce right off the wall.
But if you are a sharp needle,
Yeah.
I fix this one specific agonizing pain, you get in easily.
Exactly. You get in, and once you are inside, you can expand the relationship. Start narrow so you can go wide later. Don't try to build a massive Walmart on day one. Build a tiny high-end boutique that sells one amazing thing. Then, once you have loyal customers, you can add a second shelf.
That is incredibly liberating. It means you aren't actually killing off your other passions or ignoring your other spiritual tools. You are just sequencing them strategically.
Sequencing. That is exactly the right word for it.
Well, let's do a quick recap because we have covered a massive amount of ground today. I want to make sure people can really visualize this blueprint.
Sure, let's lock it in. Here are the 4 steps of the spiritual business blueprint. Step 1 is concept. You have to stop being a generalist, become a specialist for one specific pain, be the neurosurgeon, not the general practitioner.
Step 2 is content. Use just one platform to broadcast that specific solution. Volume matters here. You have to treat it like a data experiment, not a precious art show.
Step 3 is list building. Move your traffic off social media and onto a private list, like email or DMs. This builds deep trust and helps you avoid the dreaded public pricing trap. You're creating a safe space for the sale.
And finally, step 4 is sales. Use those low-cost trial sessions to naturally upsell into your high-ticket packages. Stop selling one-off cheap readings that just lead to total burnout. Sell a transformation.
It sounds almost too simple when you list it out like that.
It is simple in theory, but it is definitely not easy in practice. It requires strict discipline. It requires you to stop your addiction to getting new certifications and start building an addiction to business building.
That is the final biggest takeaway for me, the addiction to learning.
It's a cozy comfort zone. Studying is safe. You don't get rejected by a textbook. Selling, on the other hand, is scary. But your skills, and if you're listening, I really need you to hear me on this.
Yeah.
Your skills are very likely already good enough to help people right now. If you can pull a tarot card and give someone a glimmer of hope, you are ready. If you can look at a birth chart and explain a recurring life pattern, you are ready.
The barrier to your wealth isn't the lack of spiritual ability. The barrier is your offer.
I think that is incredibly empowering. It puts all the control right back in your hands. You don't have to wait around for some master teacher to tap you on the shoulder and give you permission to succeed. You just need a system.
Absolutely. You already have the gift. Now you just need to give yourself the business respect you deserve.
That is a beautiful place to land this deep dive. To recap everything, your skills do not determine your income. Your offer does. Stop trying to serve everyone. Build a premium high-ticket package and move your audience into a safe place where you can truly connect with them.
Thank you for listening to the Spiritual Business Blueprint podcast. To get the complete guide and start building your business today, check out the link in the show notes. I'll see you in the next episode.